Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to play a mission from a previous edition using 9e lore and rules. If that's not to your liking, then thank you for tuning in, but it's now time for you to book your one-way ticket to the Eye of Terror. Bye! So let's take a look at the mission. We're going to play a mission from 5th edition, which can be found in the Battle Mission Scenario book, written by Jervis Johnson. I like this book because it enables you to form a narrative for each army playing themed missions. In the last game, see the link below, the Slaanesh summoning ritual was stopped by the Daughters of Charity, an excommunicated sect of the Valious Heart. The Daughters of Charity must clear the planetary capital buildings of demonic incursion in search of their own redemption. The demons in today's game are servants of Slaanesh. Although they must always obey the dictates or whims of their creator, the mortal realm offers them an opportunity to pursue their own ignoble ends. Because of this, they are constantly seeking ways to enter the material universe, to conquer, destroy, and to increase their own power, as well as that of their infernal master, through the carnal pursuit of pleasure and excess. With nightfall approaching, even the most pious of the Emperor's servants question their faith. The law of Slaanesh's temptations proved too strong for many a sister. The Daughters of Charity know full well to fight against demons is to fight against shadows. It is a battle of nightmares where the enemy can appear at any place and any time. Most terrifying of all is when such a battle takes place in the dead of night, and demons, well aware of the advantage the cover of darkness gives them, will often choose to attack at this time. The board has been divided into 8 zones, each with an objective. The Daughters of Charity must deploy at least 1 infantry unit per zone. They must deploy an infantry unit in each zone because cleansing the capital of the demonic taint is their priority. The demons do not deploy until turn 1. Their deployment will be randomly determined after the Daughters of Charity have deployed. The demons have no control over which zone they materialise in. This is to represent that while in the decadent Dark Prince's realm within the warp, their will is not their own. As soon as the demons materialise, they will act as a random encounter to the Daughters of Charity. They must deploy at least 9 inches away from the Daughters of Charity, as if they were deep striking. Invigorated by darkness. Energised by the curtain of night, the demons are quick to join the fray. Add 1 to their movement characteristic, add 1 to their advance and charge rolls. Blackout. A maximum range of all shooting attacks and psychic powers is limited to 18 inches. Pall of Dread. The gloom that permeates the battlefield darkens the spirits of those who fight beneath it, giving the Daughters of Charity an unnatural sense of foreboding that erodes the courage of even the most faithful sister. In this mission, the Daughters of Charity cannot use the insane bravery stratagem. Zone 1. Industrial. Zone 2. Ecclesiastical. Zone 3. Administratum. Zone 4. Administratum. Zone 5. Administratum. Zone 6. Administratum. Zone 7. Inquisition. Zone 8. Industrial. When your tenure tears a shrine world in 2, consider your spot on the Inquisition's heretics and traitors list secured. High Preacher Urban's selection at the end of the 41st millennium triggered the fall of the Shrine World. It was a time when there were 2 and later 3 competing High Preachers claiming the title of Supreme Spiritual Leader of the planet. Unpopularity did not deter Urban. Ignored by the Emperor's light, preaching the litanies without meaning them, he willingly turned to Slaanesh for charisma and fellowship within the Synod. Urban was suddenly popular and inspiring amongst his peers. Drawn into Slaanesh's gaze by the promise of inspiration and fame, Urban had no problem using violence to dispatch his enemies. He called for the brutal killings of cardinals who plotted against him, and even griped that their screams weren't loud enough for the pleasure god to hear. The Daughters of Charity will not be deploying any character units. This is a sweep and clear mission for the Daughters' battle sisters to accomplish, under the direction of their sister superiors. It is one of the ways sister superiors become known as saints in the making, progressing through the ranks of their daughterhood through pious bravery, using one's own initiative and tactical acumen. The sister superiors will have a limited number of stratagems available to them. This is to represent the orders they have received from Canoness Cleodona. Because this is a narrative battle, they will be able to use these stratagems more than once. The Daughters of Charity begin their sweep and clear of the Capitol buildings. So far, no demons have been sighted, but they know to fight them is to fight shadows. A psychic presence dulls their connection to the God Emperor. It's only a matter of time before they materialise and wreak havoc. Because the Slaanesh demons get the first turn, Overwatch for each squad will be crucial. For this battle, I have put the Demonettes into hunting packs of 12. There will be 3 hunting packs in each detachment. Unlike the last battle, the Demonettes will not gain an extra attack in combat due to a smaller squad size, but I need them to hit multiple targets in the first turn. Demonettes have materialised. They are ready to kill in the name of their patron, their creator. After all, they are a manifestation of that God. Let's get turn 1 underway. Be'lakor is positioned exactly where he wants to be. A contorted epitome. He strategically materialised exactly in the right place with some demonettes to give them a +1 strength. Though an 8-inch charge might be too much for some of the Be'lakor is positioned exactly where he wants to be. A contorted epitome. He strategically materialised exactly in the right place with some demonettes to give them a +1 strength. Though an 8-inch charge might be too much for some, the Slaanesh demons have very little shooting. And what shooting they do have is unfortunately out of range. So the only chance they've got is to do some damage during the psychic phase and hope they can get as many demonettes and the larger demons and the greater demons and the demon prince into combat. The Daughters of Charity, however, they're going to be spending quite a few CP this turn to do as many overwatches as possible and combine those with a couple of other stratagems to maximise the weapons and the chances of hitting and doing some mortal wounds, say for example with Blessed Bolts, but it's not looking that good. The only one glimmer of hope is that Repentia and Arcoflagellants don't have many enemies around them, unlike the Ministratum building over there. The Ecclesiarchy here is surrounded, naturally so. That's the first place I would imagine a Slaanesh demon would want to materialise next to clear any taint of the Emperor left on this shrine world. So let's get started, shall we? So before the game begins, the Dominions have pulled out of the building and are waiting. They know that their Artificer Stormbolters could cause considerable damage to a unit of demons or to a minor or greater demon with a stratagem. So they've pulled out of the building to save themselves from possibly being charged by the demonettes over there. A very sensible move indeed. As you know, the demonettes have deep struck into the battlefield with all their brethren. So there'll be no movement and no advancing and very little shooting as well. So the demonettes will be having to make an 8-inch charge like everything else, and not being able to advance in the shooting phase. The psychic phase is going to be crucial, but because the Daughters of Charity are a sect of the Valious Heart, they are going to, of course, have a 5-up feel no pain against mortal wounds, which I suppose could prove rather. Rapturous is in range of this Sisters squad here, so she is going to cause some agony, some discord using her harp, which is an assault weapon, to cause a cacophony of sound against them. Now they will ignore the AP because they are armour of contempt and they are in cover, so it may not be effective really, and it might have been better off to do it on the tank, but with it being strength 4, I've got a chance of wounding the sister squad here.
and weakening them so that when it comes to these demonettes and their charge, they might have a chance, although they've got plenty of other options across this board. As you know already, the demons have deep struck into the battlefield, so they're not going to be able, this turn anyway, to move in the shooting phase by advancing and then charging. The characters are well placed across the battlefield actually to enable the demonettes to do that, but this turn that's null and void because they have just entered the battlefield via the warp. So let's do that shooting. Be'lakor is going to smite these sisters here. He's going to need a 5 or better. The only difficulty for Be'lakor is that these Daughters of Charity get a 5+ feel no pain against mortal wounds due to their faith in the Emperor being so strong, countering the psychic manifestation of a mortal wound. So let's see what happens. So Be'lakor needs a 5 for his smite. Yep, that goes off. It causes D3 wounds. Let's see. So 3 wounds, saving on 5s. That's 3 sisters dead. So after doing a smite, Be'lakor's now going to do Betraying Shades against 5 of these to try and cause some additional mortal wounds. The warp charge is 6. If he gets an 11, he adds 1 to the dice. So any 5s become 6s and cause mortal wounds. Again, the Daughters of Charity will be able to shrug it, but let's see what happens before we move on to the other. Let's see if the power goes off. It does on an 11. So let's see. Let's roll that one again. So it causes 2 mortal wounds. Let's see what happens. But the sisters save. Their faith too strong for the psychic manifestation caused by Be'lakor. Well done, sisters. Contorted Epitome has lost its forward target because they've fallen back. So instead, they are going to try to reduce the Battle Sisters behind them leadership by 1 and try and charge them as well, so that it makes it harder for them to leave combat due to the hypnotic rays from that mirror there that they are standing in front of. So let's see what happens. So this Keeper of Secrets is going to smite the sisters who are protecting the entrance there, because Hysterical Frenzy is no good for this turn because no friendly demon unit is in combat to be able to fight again. So let's see what happens. Unfortunately, before I do that, the Contorted Epitome failed its warp charge. So this time we need a 6. As you can see, warp charge 6, that's gone off, it's D3. Again, for 3 mortal wounds. How many can the sisters shrug? None. So that unit of sisters in front of the ecclesiarchal building have taken 3 wounds. So the Warlord and Exalted Keeper of Secrets is going to fire at these Retributors here with the Flamers to see how many they can take out with a smite. Let's see what happens. Needs a 7 this time. Goes off on a 10. How many wounds? 2. How many shrugs? None. So they take 2. That's the end of the psychic phase. 2 squads of battle sisters. Some retributors, unfortunately, failed their 5+ shrug. Took damage from psychic powers which cause mortal wounds. I'm starting in zone 4 because the Erectress actually has an assault weapon that can hit. Now remember, all shooting is reduced to 18 inches in range because of the darkness which surrounds everyone, the buildings, the Daughters of Charity, as well as the demons themselves. So visibility is low. So the Erectress is in range of this Sisters squad here. So she is going to cause some agony, some discord, using her harp, which is an assault weapon, to cause a cacophony of sound against them. Now they will ignore the AP because they are armour of contempt and they are in cover. So it may not be effective really, and it might have been better off to do it on the tank, but we've been strength 4. I've got a chance of wounding the sister squad here and weakening them so that when it comes to these demonettes and their charge, they might have a chance, although they've got plenty of other options across this board. As you know already, the demons have deep struck into the battlefield, so they're not going to be able, this turn anyway, to move in the shooting phase by advancing and then charging. The characters are well placed across the battlefield actually to enable the demonettes to do that. But this turn, that's null and void because they have just entered the battlefield via the warp. So let's do that shooting. The Erectress needs 2s to hit. Let's reroll that one. So she hits with 5 and she needs 3s to wound. So she's caused 3 wounds. So the sisters will save on 2-ups. And they all saved. So no sisters are hurt, unfortunately. Kind of to be expected. But there's still plenty alive at the moment as we move on to the charge phase. So the demonettes here are going to charge the emulator. See what happens. Bellacore is going to try and charge these battle sisters because of the damage that's been caused here. The demonettes over there are going to go and try and charge into those sisters. These demonettes will try and charge into the sisters, the remaining sisters here, as will the Keeper of Secrets, and the Keeper of Secrets here will charge into these Retributors, as well as those demonettes going into the front Rhino. And the Fiends will try their utmost to get into combat with that back Rhino. Let's see what happens. I'll be back in a minute. So Bellacore has attempted to charge these sisters. Unfortunately, got 6 on the dice plus 1, didn't make it. He's now facing a considerable amount of Overwatch. So let's see what happened there. Well, the sisters already with a flamer have caused 3 wounds already. So that will be 4 up. And he saves all 4. The Enchantress didn't get in. However, the Demonettes did. You can just see Be'lakor unfortunately failed to get into combat. But if I swoop over and come down, you will see that the Demonettes have made it into combat really, really well. But it's not been good for the Demons of Slaanesh. The majority of the units failed their charges and remain where they are. This could be already a game changer for the sisters, who with their superior shooting should be able to cause significant damage to the Slaanesh demons. And the Slaanesh demons do require getting into combat to survive. So these are worrying times for them, even though they're probably not worried themselves. I, as their general, am concerned what's going to happen next to them. Now you'll notice that I haven't done these demonettes here. Sorry about the wobbly camera there. Let's see what happens. Now you see, bad luck continues. I'm just going to swoop over here. A lot of bad luck's happened here because the Keeper of Secrets, who's exalted, and the Warlord has got into combat fantastically well. But unfortunately, now has to make 13 armor saves thanks to the Retributors maxing out their flamers with a stratagem. And I got one of the flamers to fire again using the Armorium Cherub. So let's make those saves, shall we? 13 4-ups required. Not bad, I don't think. Only loses 3 wounds. That could have been more. Perhaps Slaanesh does want their demons to survive on the Shrine World. Let's see. We're going to start with the Battle Sisters against the Demonettes in Sector 3, Administratum, and see what happens there. The Demonettes get 24 attacks base. The Alluras gets an extra attack, so that's 23 in total. They won't be able to re-roll at all because they don't have a Rapture Standard. However, I have played a stratagem called Razor Sharp Caress to improve the AP of their claws so that the sisters fighting in that combat do have a penalty when taking saves. Another difficulty for the Demonettes, I'm afraid, is going to be their strength. Their strength 3 against toughness 3, so it's going to be a bit more difficult to wound the sisters this time because they don't have any herald or a contorted epitome to give them a +1 strength. 3s to hit. So we roll that one. Okay, let's take out the misses. There we are. Can you see any more? Point them out to me. Right, now you need 4s to wound. On 6s, they are -5. All others are -2. However, with Armour of Contempt, that's going to be reduced by 1. So let's roll. Okay, wow. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 instantly dead. If you see any that I missed, point them out to me. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Right. So there are 5 they can save, but these are going to be -1, so I need 5 4-ups. And I make 3 of them. So altogether, 6 sisters have died in that combat. So we're now moving on to the Demonettes fighting the Immolator. Again, it's going to be a bit tough for them to wound it, and they're not going to have as many attacks. So this could be very much a mistake by the Demonettes charging the Immolator. Let's see what happens. The Immolator getting 3s to hit. If I miss any, point them out. Any misses. It's not bad at all. They're now going to need 6s to wound. Okay. As you can see there's only 3 wounds. They are at -4. So the sisters will get, the sisters Immolator will get a 6-up invulnerable. And he makes 2 of them. So takes a wound. Not very good for the Demonettes, but as predicted, a bit harder than they initially thought. Now for the Exalted, Keeper of Secrets and Warlord. Let's see whether any of these Retributors survive. Its claws and sword. It's carrying a Soul Stealer sword, so any wounds it causes, it's going to allow the Keeper of Secrets to generate a wound back. And it's already taken 3 wounds. Remember, it had to save 16 times and save 13 4-ups. Now it gets a 4-up save because of its Quicksilver reflexes given to it by its Exalted status within the pantheon of the Slaanesh Demons. So let's see what happens. The pink dice is the Soul Stealer's sword. The purple dice is the Snapping Claws. The Exalted, Keeper of Secrets and Warlord needs 2s to hit and 2s to wound. So, as you can see there, it's failed 2 of its claws, but everything else is hit. It now needs 2s to wound. Because these are Valiant Heart, you can't re-roll wound rolls, so let's see what happens. Right, so 1 sword, does nothing. 1 claw does nothing. Okay, so they are all -3. So I've got to make 6 armor saves of 6 up. Let's see what happens. Well, I managed to make 1. However, if we pan over and look, you will see that there's only 4 remaining. That unit of Retributors has been destroyed by the Keeper of Secrets. And now let's do the Defenders hitting back. So I've done them off camera, and as you can see, no damage has been done by the vehicle or by the remaining sisters. The Demonettes will surround those, but we've got to do a morale check. And the Exalted Keeper of Secrets over here has consolidated into the vehicle. Just to make it a little harder for the sisters, that vehicle is going to have to move out of combat so that the melters inside here can possibly have a shot at this Exalted Keeper of Secrets and Warlord. It might be out of range though, 18 inches, probably be okay to be fair. Let's see. So they are my holy dice for turn 1. They don't help me at all. I've got to do them. These things happen. Mistakes will be made. So I need a 1 or 2 on my dice to see if any of the sisters are fleeing the battle. They do flee, so 1 automatically goes. That's 1 on the 3 dice. So 2 are going to our left. There are always decisive moments in battles. This week, I had the opportunity to go to the battlefield at Bosworth with some of my year 5s. I'm a deputy head teacher of a primary school. And you could say the decisive moment in that battle was when Richard saw Henry Tudor and charged towards him. In this battle, I think what's going to be decisive is whether or not the sisters can do enough shooting damage to thin the ranks of these demons. Because next turn, these demons are no longer sitting ducks. They can move, they can advance, and they can charge, each with a +1. So it's going to be very, very interesting indeed to see what happens next on this battle board. And you can see over there, if I just pull over, the sisters are still in combat but surrounded. Sisters have got to have a good first turn. Those sister superiors, those saints in the making, can they stop this demonic tide? The realist in me tells me that the sisters are going to lose sectors 3, 4, 5, 6. They're not going to be able to secure it. All I can do here is try to make it as difficult as possible for the demons, slow them down. However, over here, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed in the middle ground, in Angel's Square, shall we call it, if those of you remember the City Fight rule book from many editions. Fantastic map. That's a building, Gary. So let's see what happens here. If the sisters can secure this middle ground and stem the tide in the industrial sectors, by the end of turn 2, this could be still 50-50. Let's see. Daughters of Charity know that this is a defining moment of the battle. The outcome of their assault will determine whether they will be successful today. Many loyal Daughters of Charity have already lost their lives in that first turn. They know that their actions could either save this shrine capital of this shrine world, or bring the capital and the planet into the full influence of Slaanesh. So the Repentia in the shooting phase are going to attempt to advance closer towards the fiends. The Archovagilants have come out and they are going to charge those demonettes. The 2 rhinos have tried to create a bit of a rhino wall to make it harder for the fiends to navigate through, just in case the Repentia are unsuccessful, which you're going to see just now. Okay, just in case they are unsuccessful. just a quick look at the miracle dice I have available to me. I could, I suppose, allow them to advance on a 6, but I really want to save my miracle dice for when it comes to wounding the greater demons. Let's see. So let's make a roll. Excellent, they get a 6. So the immolator is going to fire its heavy flamers and heavy bolter at the Keeper of Secrets, who's exalted, and the Warlord. So he gets 2d6 flamers. So he gets 8 shots. Pretty good going. It's going to need 5s to wound. Let's see. Does 1 wound. 4 up invulnerable. Makes it. Heavy bolter. He's forced to hit. Hits with 2. Fails. So the Keeper of Secrets takes 4 wounds. 2 Stormbolters mounted on those rhinos are going to fire at that squad of demonettes there to make it a little easier for the Archoflagellants, which you can just see around the corner. But easy for them to kill them, to soften them up, so I'm going to do that next. 3 to hit, 8 shots due to rapid fire from the 2 rhinos. Okay, as you can see, that is 6 wounds, potential wounds. Need 3s to wound. That's all of them wounding except 1. So that's 5 up invulnerables. This could be significant. Let's see what happens. Yep, 5 demonettes. 5 demonettes are going to be taken off the board because they have been shot down by Stormbolter fire from those rhinos. Good bit of supporting fire there, if you ask me. It's quite nice to see what's being removed from the board occasionally. In the tower is the Retributors. I'm at a bit of a crossroads because I'm wondering whether I should unleash everything into that greater demon, or alternatively split fire and try and take out some of those fiends to support the Repentia. After all, the Repentia, through their deeds today, could be redeemed. And maybe some melter fire to help them do that is a noble thing to do. You can also see, if I can zoom in, the Dominions, and they're all carrying melters. So I think I'm going to do the firing for them first to see what happens with them at the Greater Demon before deciding whether or not the tower splits its fire at the Fiend and the Keeper of Secrets, who does have a 4 invulnerable save because it's exalted. I've given it the same gift, Quicksilver Reflexes. It's a no-brainer really for situations like this. So we have 5 melters, 4 melter guns, 1 combi melter going into the exalted Keeper of Secrets, who has a 4 invulnerable save because of its gift. They're firing from the ecclesiarchal building into Angel Square, where the Keeper of Secrets is standing waiting to charge next turn, I would imagine. So let's see what happens. So they all hit. They need 3s to wound. And they do 3 wounds. So we need 3 invulnerable saves. Saves 2. To maximise the damage, I'm going to use a Holy Dice and put 6 wounds onto the Keeper of Secrets. With the Keeper of Secrets taking 6 wounds from the melter guns, I'm certainly going to have to now split fire to finish the job off, or use one of my Armorium Cherubs inside there to get a bit of extra shooting, but I'm still going to dedicate some of the shooting against the fiends. I just need to measure the range to see they're not out of range. 18 inches for this battle. Now you might be thinking, well, where are these retributors? Well, if I just open this inside, you can see they've positioned themselves while they were doing their sweep and clear at the top of that building. Now that is 9 inches away from the top to the bottom, so that's why the Keeper of Secrets at the start of the game was able to deploy next to the building. Bit of a risk from it, I suppose. We had no choice. Slaanesh decides where it materialises, and it's going to try now. Those retributors are going to try and deliver some retribution to the Keeper of Secrets and to the fiends. Now both Keeper of Secrets at the moment, if I just pan down, at the moment are on 10 wounds, so they're not quite in their second bracket yet, but heading that way. Let's look at that shooting. 2 multi-melters into the Keeper of Secrets. Let's see what happens. Well, that's abysmal. Clearly they didn't want to hit. Does it wound? It doesn't. Damn. Decided to spend an Armorium Cherub to see if we can change the outcome there. So neither of them hit either. Slaanesh will be laughing with pleasure at that result. Some ineffective shooting so far from the sisters. They have failed to kill the Keeper of Secrets. I'm looking at what's left to fire and I'm thinking, even though we have got that squad of Battle Sisters left, I will try and split fire again using the heavy bolter there against the Keeper of Secrets and hope we do some similar damage as we did before against the Warlord there. The remaining sisters in that unit are going to put all their fire into those demonettes with the minions with their storm bolters. I might use Blessed Bolts against the Keeper of Secrets, I suppose, but I really want to use the minions to whittle down that unit there. The Sephirim will fire their pistols at the Seekers before charging in, and as will the Seraphim over there. My only difficulty is, and it is a difficulty, is that the Inferno pistols, I wish they had a greater range because they might have made the difference here, but that's wishful thinking, so let's get that done. Bolters from the Battle Sisters at the Demonettes. So we've got 6 hits. We need 3 to wound. And we cause 4 wounds. 5 ups. 2 die so far. I'm going to use the Cherub dice to have 4 Flamer shots. And I'm going to roll a further d6 for the Combi Flamer at them. So I get 8 shots altogether. I'm going to need 3 to wound, causing 5 wounds. 2 are dead already. Let's see what happens. Again, another 2, so that's 4 dead. Some good saving there from Demonettes. The Heavy Bolter is going to fire at the Greater Demon. Let's see what happens. Only hits once. These are 5 to wound. It does wound. Does it save on a 4? It doesn't, so it takes 2 damage, knocking it down a bracket. Nicely done. So as you can see, the combined crossfire, the Dominions and the Battle Sisters have reduced that unit of Demonettes from 12 to 3. They will certainly be taking a morale check. So the Sephirim are going to fire their pistols into the Seekers to try and reduce their number. Let's see what happens there. Hopefully that will prove useful. The Demonettes are still living, as are the Seekers, the Keeper of Secrets. Their numbers have been reduced. Their footprint is still very much in the ground on this side of the board, as you can see. Hopefully, over this side, I sigh because I really feel for the sisters. I've still got the emulators to fire, albeit at a penalty. I've still got the remaining sisters in the Administratum building here to fire. And if I stand up and come in a bit, I've still got that sisters unit to fire at those Demonettes. If I turn back round, you will see there is still plenty the Slaanesh demons can do to cause a lot of hurt to these sisters. Remember, Slaanesh demons fight first, so we'll be taking it in turns because of the charge. Any units that I get into hand-to-hand combat who charge will take it in turns with the Demonette. So I've got to be really strategic, especially in the middle of this board, decide who goes first, and do I or don't I charge the Keeper of Secrets, just to have the hope of keeping them in combat so that I can have another hopefully more successful turn of firing. I'll move that cherub in a moment. So that's the board as it looks at the moment. I'm not done hand-to-hand combat yet. This is a very long turn one, but in most narrative games, the earlier turns are normally the most decisive. So let's see what happens. So next up is the shooting from the emulator, and then we will work our way across these final zones, which I have to say the demons look very much in control of. So next up is the shooting from the emulator, and then we will work our way across these final zones, which I have to say the demons look very much in control of. So that Battle Sisters squad are going to use their cherub to give them 6 flamer hits against Be'lakor. I realise it's only going to tickle him, but 3 damage counts. And then we'll move on to that Battle Sisters squad over there. And it will be the final shooting of this first turn. Heavy bolter at Be'lakor. Hits twice. Does it wound? Doesn't wound. 6 flamers, needing 5 to wound. Cause 2 wounds. Be'lakor's got 2 saves of 4. Takes a wound. The other flamer, how many shots did it get? 4 shots. So 5's to wound. No wounds. And then there are 3 heavy bolters at rapid fire. Needing 5s. 3 wounds. He takes another 2. So Be'lakor has taken 3 wounds. The Sephirim over there are going to charge the Keeper of Secrets as well as the Fiends. They are going to be supported by this unit as well, who are going to charge into the fiends, because the demonettes, I think, are going to have to do a break test, a morale check, and they'll lose a few more of their number. We can deal with those later. Over here, the arco-flagellants are going to charge into those remaining demonettes. The Repentia are going to charge into the fiends because they can advance and charge. And over here, I've decided the sisters are going to try and finish off that unit of demonettes. This is going to be incredibly difficult to decide, because whatever happens, the unit is going to be penalised because they're not going to be able to go first due to the Slaanesh rules, so we have to take it in turns. So I will start with the Sephirim. Likelihood is then Slaanesh will kick in unless I use 2 CP to interrupt. Could do that. And then it would be me again. But let's see. The Seraphim need freeze to hit. However, because the Keeper of Secrets has an aura around her, a mesmerising aura, or something alike, I need to subtract 1 from each dice roll. So let's see how many actually hit. Okay. So hits, 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 still hits. That would be a hit. Not bad really. So 8 hits, but now I need 5s to wound. +1 on the power sword means I'm not needing 6s. That's 5, 6, sorry, so there's 3 wounds. A bit cocked. 4 wounds. Okay. So 4 wounds. Need 4 dice, 4 invulnerable saves. Saves 2, loses 2 wounds. The Repentia have interrupted, and they're going to now go next against the Fiends. So they are Sealots, but they need 4s to hit because of their big eviscerators. So let's just put those there. Then we normally need 3s. Get to reroll these dice. Okay, it's not bad. It's twice their strength, so strength 6 against toughness 4. I'm going to need 3s. Okay, so there are 9 saves to be made. Well, 4 were made. That was 2, 4, kills 1, kills 2, put 2 wounds on another. So as you look across the board, combat has redeemed the Daughters of Charity. Fortune certainly does favour the pious and brave, because combat has turned the tide of this battle in favour of the Daughters at the moment. There aren't many zones where the demons are dominating. So, got morale phase to do. That could change because there's morale to do on each side, and I'll make all those rolls live for you to see what happens, and then I will come back. There aren't as many demons left. In zone 3 and 4, there's a large quantity of demonettes, but everywhere else, it's the larger demons. Repentia will be okay on a 1, 2, 3 and 4. No, so 1 dies. What happens to the other 4? They lose 1 more. Fiends be okay on a 1, 2 and 3. They're not, so 1 dies, but the other 1 survives. The Demonettes fighting the Archovagilants need a 1. They get it and they're fine. Shame there isn't a banner there. The Archovagilants, but they need a 1 or 2. They don't, so 1 dies. What happens to the other 4? Fine. The Seekers need a 1. They don't, so 1 dies. What happens to the other 2? The other 2 remain. Demonettes need a 1 or 2, and they're okay. The Demonettes by the Contorted Epitome need a 1. They get it, they're fine. These Demonettes took great pleasure in killing those Battle Sisters, and they're going to advance and charge another squad. They get +1 to move and +1 to advance. So they move 7 normally, they're going to move 8, they're going to move 14 inches. That puts them right in front of those Battle Sisters, ready to charge. Contorted Epitome and the Demonettes are going to charge towards these Dominions and these Battle Sisters as well. Bellicor has flew into the air and swooped down and advanced, ready to charge the Sephirim. So let's move on to Psychic. Bellicor is going to cast Betraying Shades on the Sephirim. He can choose up to 5 models, and he rolls the number of attacks they get. So 5 models here would be 15. Any 6s will be mortal wound. Any if he gets a warp charge of 11, he gets +1 on the die, so 5s then become 6s. So it's a really good power to use. He might be able to clear out those Sephirim, but let's see what happens. Obviously they're going to try and deny. The trained Shades needs 6. He doesn't. They will use a reroll. Well done. Keeper of Secrets is going to cast Smite on a 6. Does. How many? 4. 3. Yeah, the Sephirim are not going to enjoy this. Oh, they only lose 1. Bellacor's Smite released the Keeper of Secrets from combat. So let's see if that has any significance to these dominions, which you can just see in the picture. When we get to the charge phase. This is probably the last roll of the dice for the Slaanesh demons. They know too well they've got to get into combat, finish off these Daughters of Charity who have superior firepower to them. Contorted Epitome is going to charge those Battle Sisters there. Be'lakor, who swooped across in that direction, is going to take out the Sephirim, hopefully. I really do hope this Keeper of Secrets does get to charge these dominions, though they will overwatch with all their melter. If we swoop across the board, the Enchantress will charge these sisters while these demonettes go into these Battle Sisters, who will overwatch as well. And these remaining demonettes will go into those dominions. As you can see, everything is in combat except the Contorted Epitome, which failed. So we've got quite a bit of combat to roll now. I'm going to try and resolve as much of it as I can with you to see and enjoy. So the Keeper of Secrets gets 4 attacks, 4 pink dice for its sword, and 2 purple. Needs 2 to hit. Starts with 1. 2s to wound. Wounds with everything this time. So they are -2. So 5s. Save 1, lose 2 dominions. These 2 here, let's see what happens. Yep, lose another 2, so that's 4 dominions in that combat. The Demonettes have 15 attacks against the Battle Sisters. They are using Razor Sharp Caress. Let's see what happens. They are strength 3, toughness 3, so need 4s. Wow, that's pretty good. So that's -5, so that's 1 dead. The rest of these, 6 at -1. It's -1 because Razor Sharp Caress gives you -2 AP. So I lose 3 more, so that's 4 altogether. So Be'lakor is going to use a sweep attack, so he's got 12 hits, needing 2 hits. 2's to wound. These are 8 attacks on -3, so I need -2, so 5s. Due to army combat. Not bad, but there's only 5 left. So the Sephirim are dead. So 6. If you look across the table, the Daemons have had a very effective round of combat, causing great harm to the Daughters of Charity. There is still hope, however. Be'lakor couldn't consolidate into combat, too far away, and this Keeper of Secrets is right in the open, as is the remaining one with 1 wound left. Can that Sister Superior be a saint in the making? Who knows? All very interesting. The least effective combat was the one at the back. I'll zoom in. Those Demonettes, bless them, are chipping 1 wound per turn. They just don't have the weight of numbers or the re-rolls really to do any more. If you look across the table, the Daemons have had a very effective round of combat, causing great harm to the Daughters of Charity. There is still hope, however. Be'lakor couldn't consolidate into combat, too far away, and this Keeper of Secrets is right in the open, as is the remaining one with 1 wound left. Can that Sister Superior be a saint in the making? Who knows? All very interesting. The least effective combat was the one at the back. I'll zoom in. Those Demonettes, bless them, are chipping 1 wound per turn. They just don't have the weight of numbers or the re-rolls really to do it. Seraphim will try and finish off these Demonettes too, mindful that if the Retributors cannot kill Be'lakor, the Redemptia behind them will charge him. They've also got to consider this remaining Keeper of Secrets and Warlord. Do they split fire? We know what happened last time. The Rhinos, one's been tied up, the other one will give some supporting fire against this Keeper of Secrets, because the Sister Superior has bravely stepped out of combat using a stratagem and will fire her melter, her combi melter, at the demon, hoping to kill it. I hope she does, so that she becomes a saint in the making. And in our next game, part 3, I'll make sure she does so. The minions will shoot their pistols at these remaining demonettes. Little sisters will try and remove the contorted epitome, which hasn't been very effective today, I may add. Not learning from the last time, the retributors in the tower are going to split fire. They're going to take 2 shots at the Keeper of Secrets and 2 shots at Be'lakor. Let's see what happens. So I'm splitting fire, and 2 multi-melters are going to fire at the Keeper of Secrets. It increased to hit. They all hit. It increased to wound. 2 wounds. Let's see what saves it makes. Makes 1 save. It's on 2 wounds. Damage 2. That takes out the Keeper of Secret. Sister Superior against the Keeper of Secrets. Hit. Wounds. Can it save? And saves. Be'lakor has taken 9 damage, but it reduces each attack by 1. So in fact, he's taken 7 damage, reducing him to 5. The Sister Superior of our multi-melter has got 1 last shot. Then if that doesn't work, these Redemptia will charge in to finish the job. As you can see, the Tower of Death, by splitting fire, has killed 1 Keeper of Secrets, but the other remains, despite the valiant efforts of the Sister Superior, who fired her melter, wounded the creature, but its invulnerable save saved it. Be'lakor proved too much for the Retributors, and he's still alive. I don't have the CP to interrupt, to go first, to charge first, and then to interrupt to stop the Slaanesh demons from having their turn, because we alternate. So whatever I do now is going to be rather significant, because if I allow the Repentia to charge first and attack first against Be'lakor, the Sister Superior here ultimately is going to have to face combat against that Keeper of Secrets. And it doesn't matter really a reduction in attacks, because he's still hitting, they are still hitting at the same stat line. Round here, it is as is. Pistol fire did nothing to thin the numbers here. And neither did the heavy bolters cause any damage.
Sister Superior, a saint in the making, charges in. Who will win, piety or pleasure?
Well, that's the end of turn 2. The gamble made by the Daughters of Charity hasn't paid off. Be'lakor is wounded. The Keeper of Secrets survived and gained back a wound. However, the Seraphim have now consolidated into it. Managed to survive combat. I think the Keeper of Secrets were surprised by their bravery. The Demonettes have cleared those Battle Sisters and have tagged the Seraphim. The Seraphim have a lot to do to survive. Not only have they got to fend off the wounded Keeper of Secrets, the Demonettes behind it, like the Keeper of Secrets horns, are attacking from both sides the Seraphim. If they survive, then they might have a chance of killing the creature. But I feel like fate is against them today. Be'lakor, as you can see, has approached the building. He's going to use some psychic might first before charging. The Retributors have been largely ineffective, are going to try their best to overwatch. Be'lakor is going to charge the Retributors inside. Let's see what happens. I imagine him flying up and suspending himself in the air with his wings and fighting through the windows. That's the way I see it. 6 is needed. 1-6 could be enough for the multi-melters. 3 to wound, but doesn't wound. The combi melter hits. Either 3 to wound, does wound. Does Be'lakor save it? No, he doesn't. Takes D6 plus 2, take away 1, 3. He is dead. The Seraphim have got to survive 2 attacks now. The first one is the Keeper of Secrets, who needs 2s to hit. As you can see, pretty well. 2s to wound. Wounds with all of them. It's -3 across the board, so -2. I'm going to need 5s. There will be a Seraphim left, so the squad will not be destroyed this turn. On this attack, sorry. So 5 attacks, needing 5s. 4 die. The Demonettes are next. At the end of the Demon's turn 3, these Demonettes continue to struggle against the Immolator. Everything else that was once in these zones has returned to the warp. Be'lakor is dead, and the Keeper of Secrets, with a cabal of Demonettes, marches forward towards the Tower of Doom. Can the Retributors finish it off, and the remaining sisters on the board take the Demonettes, and in doing so take control of the capital buildings of this shrine world? The sisters have ran forward, ready to try their best to kill the Demonettes who are following the Keeper of Secrets. The Keeper of Secrets has got to survive the combined firepower of the Retributors, who for the first time in this battle will not be splitting fire. So the Retributors, there's 4 of them, they get 2 shots each. They're going to be firing their melter weapons at the Keeper of Secrets. 4 of them hit. Need 3s to wound. 3 of them wound. The way Slaanesh has been manipulating these dice today, I feel as if this Keeper might just survive this. Let's see. And it does. The Keeper of Secrets survives. I've got no Armarium Cherubs left. The only thing I've got is a combi melter. I'm going to have to measure to see if I'm in range. Well, as you can see from there, the Keeper of Secrets is out of range of the melter gun. There are, however, 2 bolt guns in there. So I am going to fire the 2 bolt guns at the Keeper of Secrets. What a game. What a game. Well done, Slaanesh. So let's go back down. Excuse the dice. Zoom in a bit. There we are. 3's to hit. 1 hit. Strength 4, top of the 7. We'll need a 5. 1 wound. The Keeper of Secrets. Can you make it save? It does. So it stays alive for now. We will be starting, however, with a small arms fire at the Demonettes. While the Battle Sisters Flamers are out of range, their bolt guns could do the job. The Dominions are now closer to the Keeper of Secrets than the Demonettes. So they will fire their Storm Bolters and use Blessed Bolts to see if they can ping off some mortal wounds against this creature. Let's see. Wow, that's 6 mortal wounds against the exalted Keeper of Secrets, who cannot save those and dies with a scream that will permeate in the ears of the Daughters of Charity for some time. With the Keeper of Secrets finally leaving the mortal plane, the sisters will no doubt have very little difficulty mopping up the remaining Demonettes left in the capital. The Demonettes are not stupid. They will no doubt choose a different fate for themselves. And rather than return to the warp, they will melt away in the shadows. The Furies, who I have forgotten to use or gain, will report back to their master to tell them that something greater is needed to retain this shrine world.